Today, I'm going to be teaching you the best glitch in every kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. That's 17 of the best glitches in the game. This is from traversing all of Cascade Kingdom while out of bounds, clipping bosses out of their arenas in Sand Kingdom, bringing the letters everywhere in Metro Kingdom, and so much more. So stick around and I hope you enjoy the video. So for the first glitch and kingdom of the video, you're just going to want to come to Cap Kingdom, and you're going to want to come to the Top Hat Tower checkpoint, which is right here. Now you're just going to want to go to the right of the hat until you see a little cliff jutting out the side like this. Then jump down on the cliff and go into the sub area. Now that you're here, you're just going to want to grab a Goomba and bring him to the doorway, just like this. Then you're going to want to go to the right post like this, and you're going to want to ever so slightly inch the Goomba towards the corner, just like this. If you do it correctly, you should be able to just go right through. From here, you are able to explore the entire sub-area from out of bounds. Going to the back over here, we can see how it works by spawning in these weird lava things so far out. And going to the other end as well, we can see them all despawn. But that isn't everything that we can do with this. We can look around the whole sub-area, which does look a bit wonky. But if you do uncapture and ground pound, you can just fall infinitely. If you fall for a long enough time, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff that starts to happen. If you are interested on what happens when you fall for a very long time with this glitch, I have a whole video on that topic. Anyways, that's just about everything you can do with this glitch. And now, on to the next glitch and the next kingdom, that being Cascade Kingdom. Alright, and we're back with the second glitch of the video and in Cascade Kingdom. So for this glitch, you're just going to want to come to the main area with the shop and balloon world, and you're just going to want to come to this corner over here. Now you're going to want to do a ground pound roll cancel. If you don't know how to do one, here's how you can. First, you're going to need to know how to ground pound, and then adding on to that, you're going to want to press Y. Doing this should get you a ground pound roll. But if you do it too early, you should see Mario throw out Cappy like that. If you see that, just delay it a little bit longer. Now, instead of just pressing Y when you're ground pound rolling, you're going to want to roll your thumb across Y and X. And if you do it correctly, you should be able to just do the ground pound roll cancel like that. Now, you're going to want to bring that technique over here, and you're going to want to stand about here. Now, you're going to want to do the ground pound roll cancel and hold right. If you do this correctly, you should be able to just get into this out of bounds area. Now, this is just a small area compared to where you can go. If you just ground pound under this thing and dive, you should be able to access this invisible platform. Just like this. Now, we don't just need to stay on this platform, we can actually explore this whole area that has water. It extends pretty far out too, which is quite surprising. This is where the edge of the water is, just so that you know. But that still isn't everything. You can jump up here and go onto this small piece of collision right here, and now we can maneuver along the edges of the world. So just jump over here to this big spot, and we can go all the way over here until our journey has to stop. Now, if we go back to the original spot, we can do a ground pound jump and Cappy hat dive, and then just dive normally again to access this pretty big spot over here. Now, from here, we can even go all the way up here to these blocks. But this still isn't it. If you align yourself to where you can see Cappy is halfway out of bounds and halfway in bounds, you can Cappy dive right onto this platform here. Now, if you do it correctly, you can jump right onto that pole using a ground pound jump, Cappy hat dive, using camera mode to load it in, and then jumping right on. And now I think that's everything, which we can get a crazy view of the kingdom from up here. So we started all the way down there on that invisible platform. It should be circled on screen. Anyways, I think that's everything that you can do with this glitch. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch and while we're in Sand Kingdom in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and we're back and we're in Sand Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are going to be needing a save file with this moon not gotten, which is the atop the highest tower moon. And you should be in a world where you haven't really solved the problem in the kingdom and everything's still covered in ice. Now you're just going to want to go to the inverted pyramid. Now that we're at the inverted pyramid, you are just going to want to come up to the door and you're going to want to go in this general area. Then you're going to want to do a backflip and ground pound roll cancel like we did earlier. If you do this correctly, you should be able to go right through, which I don't know how we got that fast. This glitch is really particular. From here, you're just going to want to go to the top of the inverted pyramid where the boss is. Now that we're at the top of the pyramid, you're just going to want to access the boss fight that's normally here. Now that we're in the boss, you're just going to want to do something called a bubble clip. In order to do one of those, you're just going to need to go up to the barrier, backflip, and then back throw at the right time. If you do that correctly, you should be able to clip right through. Wait, first try? Now just spam B, and you should be able to jump just like that. I don't know how we got that first try. That normally takes a while. Since we didn't really get that much time, bubble clipping is best for that one. I say around this height right here. Just back throw like that. And if you did it correctly, you should be good. But from here, we're just going to want to go grab the moon on top of the tower. There are some weird things that happen, so we're going to do that before. Just like this in the secret room. If we go under here and keep jumping, we can just look under the sand. Here's a really weird black and gray version of the world. But if we do fully go in the room, we can see the room from a normal perspective, which doesn't really happen normally. There's also kind of no roof, which is pretty cool. And if we grab the moon, we can move the camera. But now let's go to the top of the tower. Once you're in the 2D section, another strange thing starts to happen. You can actually move the camera during a 2D section, which doesn't really normally happen. And we can actually see from behind, which is pretty cool. But if you stop moving, the camera fixes itself and goes to the wall. So just make sure you keep moving and you're good. Now that we're at the top of the tower, you're just gonna want to grab the moon. Now that we've gotten the moon, everything is normal, except Harriet is still there, which is the brutal. And we're going to want to get her down. So in order to do that, we're going to be needing to firstly go over to that building out in the distance, just up here. Now, once we're here, we are going to want to stand in this area. I like either this bush or on this area, and wait until we see bombs coming off of the pyramid. Then we can move. Oh, there we go, there we go. We just saw the first bomb fly off. Now we can move. We are now going to want to go back to the ruins and be at a very specific spot. So now that we're at the ruins, we are going to want to be standing here. This second part normally does take a bit longer than the first part, but just have a little bit of patience and you should be good. While doing this glitch, I accidentally got Harriet stuck. If this ever happens to you, you can tell by Harriet's bombs not moving off the pyramid nor your camera going towards her when she's rotating. So if this happens, just move more to the right and you should be good. We had to do this a couple of times since she did get stuck for a little bit. I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, there she is. Okay, so just a little bit more and she's fallen down. If she does pull out the big thing, you just do have to wait for her to stop levitating. But now she's on the floor. From what we can see with the bombs, they get pretty affected by the slopes of the sand. But now that you have Harriet down here, you can bring her anywhere. I just don't recommend going into the sand ruins because she won't be able to come back. But before we bring her anywhere, we have got to do one very specific thing, and that's grab the Jaxie. If you haven't grabbed him yet, he should be up there. You can get up there by doing a triple jump up here, going onto this small ledge here, while jumping right here and just jumping up. And there we go, we got the Jaxie. Now, we just have to get Harriet to land a bomb on him, which is a little bit harder than expected. Not really like that, but one of the smaller ones. Okay, that looks good. And now we have activated this thing. The thing is very loud, so just be careful about that. If you do this, turn the sound down. But if you do want to get rid of it, you can just board them. But it does hurt you, so you're going to have to tank the damage. Okay, now we're at a moderate level again. But like I said before, you can take her anywhere. Let's take her to the town and then throw her off the edge. Stay tuned for that. All right, and we're finally here. It took a while, but we're at the town. Now let's see what happens if we bring her to the civilians, since they normally freak out whenever they see bad guys. They aren't going crazy. Why aren't they going crazy? Well, anyways, this is pretty darn far from her arena already, so this is pretty cool. Now it's time to throw her off the edge. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the edge here. We're at the Odyssey now, so the edge is just a little bit further. When I was going to throw Harriet off the cliff, I did realize that it's not exactly possible to throw her off the cliff where we were, so I ended up dying when attempting it. Thankfully, we were able to go to a place that we were actually able to throw her off the cliff. Alright, and we have Harriet again. It did take a while, but we're all good. Turns out we can't really throw her off the cliff over there. We gotta do it over here. So if you want to do this, which I don't really think you would, you've just got to bring Harriet all the way over here, and then you're going to want to stand at that area over there, and Harriet should just fall off. Alright, we're almost there. Harriet's almost off the edge, so just make sure that we have a gap in front of us, and that should be good. And there she goes! She's off into the void. Except she doesn't fall straight away, she just kind of floats there for a little bit. And she's gone. Goodbye, Harriet. But anyways, that's the Sand Kingdom glitch. And now I'll see you guys in Lake Kingdom. Okay, and we're back, and we're in Lake Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to need to come to the main part over here. I recommend coming to this checkpoint. Wait. Well, seems like we just accidentally found a glitch. So if we just go on the water plaza entrance checkpoint, I don't know if it works with any of the other ones. We just found this. If we go on the water plaza entrance checkpoint, do a circle and end on it, the text just doesn't show, but you can still warp to it. That's pretty cool. I'll leave you guys to mess around with that. I don't really know anything about it since we just found it. Now let's get on with the actual glitch, which we need one of these fish for. So just grab one anywhere and you should be good. Now you're going to want to bring it up here to this flower, and you're going to want to get out of the fish to activate the flower and go back in the fish. Now you're going to want to jump onto the flower so that you can get above the ledge and go into the other water on the other side. Just like this. If you want to make a quick pit stop in here, that's good too. But we just got to go to the other side. Now, you're going to want to bring the fish to this platform, and you're going to want to put it around in this circle. Now, you're going to want to go into 2-player mode. Now, with your second controller, you're going to want to put Cappy up top, and you're just going to want to ground pound it. If you're in the correct spot, you should be able to just go right through the floor. Just try to be as close to the center as possible. That's what works for me. And just like that, there we go. We were close to the center, and we were able to clip right through. From here, we don't need to remain in 2-player mode, but now we're able to explore the entire kingdom out of bounds. We just gotta quickly speedrun it. So let's go. First of all, in here, we can see the entire maze from out of bounds, which looks pretty cool. But the coolest part is that it's for some reason trapped inside of this huge box. Randomly throughout the kingdom, you'll see these rainbow sheets that just appear for some reason. I don't know why. Here's one right here that can only be seen from this direction, and here's a large one. Going to this area as well, we can see the 2D section from behind, and we can go over here to see the painting area, which allows us to go into this body of water from out of bounds, which is pretty cool. But this is only exploring from a surface level. We can also dive below and see a few things. We can see the continuation of the maze right here, which is once again in those giant boxes, but this time it's sloped for some reason. We can also see this huge thing which leads down to Captain Toad, which we're going to come back to later. We're able to go behind the glass dome to look at whatever's inside from backwards, which is pretty cool. And we can see all the random holes in the wall that just have things like this. So now coming back to this big thing, we are just going to want to dish the fish, swim right in here, and do a Cappy hat dive under the world so that we can get into a different body of water, just like this. Now make sure you stay above the death barrier and just make sure you're partially back inbounds like this. And ground pound your way down. From here, we can go out of the water, and we are now below the death barrier. If we go inside the box, we can see that it's in the Captain Toad room, which is pretty cool. And we can kind of go under and say hello. And the one last thing that you can do with this is if you go too far out, you will die. There we go. Anyways, that's this glitch. It's a really cool glitch, which allows you to explore literally the entire kingdom like we just demonstrated. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch and kingdom of the video, which is Wooded Kingdom. Alright, and we're back in Wooded Kingdom. So for this glitch, you're just going to want to come to the observation deck checkpoint, and you're going to want to grab Glidon. From here, you're going to want to bring him into a room, which is just under here. You can do this either by flying into this little cubby hole just like this, or you can break these blocks and lead him through that way. For reference, these blocks are just below the observation deck. But now that you've gotten Glidon in the room, you're going to want to bring him beside the pipe like this, and you're going to want to face him towards the pipe. Now, you're just going to want to double tap B, and if you do that correctly, you should be able to go right out of bounds. If you aren't doing this correctly, you could be tapping B too high, just like this. You're literally just going to want to barely put your finger on B and do that twice. But now that we're out of bounds, we're able to explore. There's quite a few places that we can go. First off, there's a small invisible platform right here. First of all, there's a huge platform over here that we can go to. Just kind of fall down here past the maze, and you should be good. Now you can get rid of Glidon, and you can explore this whole platform. It goes really far out this way. You've just got to stay pretty close to the wall if you come out that way. But from here, you aren't exactly able to do much. You can kind of go in this wall like this so that you can get past this invisible wall, but that's just about it. And from here, you can't really do much either. You can long jump out here and go onto this platform, but that's just about it. 1 second. Maybe we could go a little bit further. Oh, yes, we can. Okay, how big is this platform? We're just on the edge, so if we get bubbled, we're probably going back in bounds. We just gotta be careful. Wait, no, if we get stopped, we're going to deep woods. Okay, we're taking this way further than I thought. I didn't know that you could go so far from there. Going back to that place that we were at the start, we can get there way easier, but That was so cool. Now that we're back in the main area, we can explore that area further. So if we just go over here, we can land on this spot right here, which is still quite close from where we were before. We just didn't land over there since there isn't much room to land. But now we can backflip over this thing to land on this small area, then go to this area, and lastly this one, which is just a huge platform that's out of bounds. Why this is here is a mystery, but it's still pretty cool. And from here, you can also jump to this area over here. You can land on this platform, which leads you up here. So you can put yourself in jail. Wonder what he did. But still, we can go further. We can jump in this direction onto this platform. And we might be able to jump over this. Let's see. Could we? Okay, we cleared the gap, but come on, come on. Okay, we overshot. Now back at the main platform, we're able to fly around the whole kingdom, which looks pretty cool. There is still a lot to be found that I haven't shown you yet, but I'll leave that up to you guys to discover. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch, with that being in Cloud Kingdom. Okay, and we're back with the glitch in Cloud Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are going to be needing to be in assist mode instead of regular mode, since we need the bubble. And you're going to want to come to this area right here with this pound thing. I don't know what to call it, but it's a thing that you ground pound. Now, you're just going to want to ground pound it and then grab the music note at the top. Then you're going to want to collect all the notes except for the last three, that being these ones. There we go. Now we've collected all the notes. Now, you are just going to want to stand in front of the notes like we did. It doesn't matter if you grab the first one also. But you're going to want to jump above the notes, throw your hat across, and then go to the other side of the platform. Then you're going to want to go into the bubble, and as soon as you can when you're in the bubble, you are going to want to shake your controller so you grab the other two notes. If you do this correctly, the glitch should activate. Just like that. And now we're stuck. There is nothing that we can do. We can't do anything by going into like capture mode. We can't jump, pause, map. We can't do anything. So that's this glitch. We're just kind of stuck here now. The only way to get out is to close the game, so I guess that's what we'll do. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch of the video. Alright, and we're back with the glitch in Lost Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to want to come to the Rocky Mountain Summit checkpoint, and you're going to want to grab Glidon. Then you're going to want to bring him to this tree over here. Now, you are going to want to bring him on this leaf specifically and make him face this wall. Now, you are going to want to make sure that the push-up thing is like this and not like this. If you have it like this, you cannot do the glitch. But now that we're all good, we're ready to recapture Glidon. Now, you are just going to want to fly at this wall, and right before you hit the wall, you're going to want to let go of B and hold forward. If you do it correctly, you should be able to go right through. Just like that. And now we are out of bounds and able to explore. So there is a small invisible platform for us to see over here. It does go a little bit further. Never mind, it ends right here. But what we can see is how the game deals with all these block things. So we can see they kind of just get pushed through the floor. It's kind of interesting to see how long they are. But we can also jump to this small spot right here, right by the Captain Toad room. You just can't really move the camera. Yeah, this is where we were. This is where we had landed. It's a pretty tight spot, and it lets you go back in bounds very easily, but it's pretty cool. From here, we aren't really able to do much more because this wall has collision, so we can't go through and explore, and there isn't really much else to see. It's just kind of hollow. One interesting thing about this is how this lava just doesn't really have a death barrier or death hitbox. But yeah, that just about sums up this glitch. And I'll see you guys in Metro Kingdom for that glitch in 3, 2, 1. Alright, and we're back in Metro Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to need to come to where the letters are, and you're going to want to grab any of them except for the M. I'm just using A since it's the best one. Now with this letter, you're going to want to have the colored side facing out like this, and have it right up against the invisible wall like this. Then you're going to want to go grab the M. With the M, you're going to want to bring it to this letter that you have over here, and you're going to want to make the colored side face out like this. Do that by going right up to the letter, then turning the camera so that it faces up, and you should be good. Now, you're just going to want to grab the scooter. Now, with the scooter, you're going to want to go behind the M like this, and you're going to want to face it just like this. Then you're going to want to accelerate, and right before you hit it, jump and dismount the scooter. If you do it correctly, you should see the scooter on it. So let's try it. There we go. Now the scooter is on the M, and we're ready to do the next part of the glitch, which is just simply capture the M. If you see the M move a lot like that, uncapture and recapture the M, but that doesn't really happen normally, so just hold up and you should just walk like this. Then uncapture the M and capture your letter here. If you did it correctly, your letters should be out of bounds. But like I said before, you're going to want to capture one of these letters. That means we can get them all out. So let's do that. It's the same setup for all of them, so nothing changes. So here we have the I. Oh, okay, we got hyperspeed on that one. That can sometimes happen. Just make sure to uncapture it. But we got the I out as well. Next up is the R. And that's the R with the rest of them. And now finally the O. And there we go, we have all of these letters out of bounds. From here we can take them anywhere, it just might take a while to transport them all. Now it's time to show you what these guys can do. The A can make you go through every single wall in the kingdom, which is crazy. So just bring the A up to any wall like this and have a little bit of space. Try and make it as parallel with the wall as possible, meaning it's as straight with the wall as possible like this. And then just kind of go down. Don't wall slide, it's better if you just kind of jump down. And then you'll just end up in every wall. It's that simple. A few more examples of being able to go through every wall is going inside the city hall, going inside of the theater where you play that Mario 1 minigame, going through the costume room door, and also going inside of the normal costume room building, and lastly going inside of this random building that I found in this random street. But that still isn't everything that we can do with the letters. You can also go on top of taxis by having them beside poles and stuff. And then if you uncapture and let a taxi go, it's just floating. You can do this with every single letter and every single taxi. Yep, there's the O on top of this random one. But that still isn't everything that we can do with the taxis, surprisingly. If you have one of the letters in front of a taxi, get out of the letter and put the letter inside of a taxi by getting it to drive it through it. Then just go out one of the corners and you have activated hyperspeed. And now that letter is gone. So we just got rid of the O, so we only have the A, I, and R now. You can go to some pretty crazy places with this, so I encourage you to explore it. And now here it is with the R. We just went through that whole building as well, and now the R is gone forever too. The last thing that we can do with the letters is walk into this area there, and it transports us into this loading zone, which brings us here. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next kingdom in 3, 2, 1. Alright, and we're back in Seaside Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to want to come to the Ocean Trench West checkpoint, and you're going to want to grab a Cheep Cheep. From here, you should see this area with a whole bunch of lumps in the land, or bumps or whatever, but we're going to be ignoring this and going straight to this little divot in the land. From here, we're going to need to know how to do this fast thing with the Cheep Cheep. You're just going to want to press Y and B at the same time since the glitch uses this a lot. Now, you're just going to want to put the Cheep Cheep down here, with that thing that we just learned. And now we're going to want to go out just like this. Then we're going to want to do a homing cap throw right onto the Cheep Cheep. That requires you to throw out your hat and shake your controller. Now, after you've captured the Cheep Cheep, you're going to want to do the thing that we were doing before and hold Y so that you go down. If you do this correctly, you should be able to go right through the floor. Just like that. And if you don't get enough height during that initial launch, you just got to keep doing it over and over again until you get down. But now we're out of bounds. From here, we're able to explore the entire kingdom. So we can see all the little tunnels that this place is hidden. We can see like the Sphinx room down there, or just the entrance to it. We can see more of those box things that we saw in Lake Kingdom, but this time they're made out of actual textures. I don't know why they're here, but they're pretty cool. Also, in this room specifically, with the one with the big button, if you go over here, you can just kind of land on this invisible bit of sand for some reason. It has the same texturing as the Sand Kingdom sand and not the sand here, which is rather strange, actually. While looking around a little bit more, we can come to the other side of the kingdom, which actually allows us to just swim under the wall that's preventing us from going any further. From here, we cannot swim out as far as we can since there is that force field thing that's keeping us in. But we can see everything from behind, which is pretty cool. Well, that's this glitch. It's a really fun glitch to just go around and explore in. Anyways, on to the next glitch in Snow Kingdom. Alright, and we're back in Snow Kingdom. So for this glitch, you're just going to want to come to the Shiveria race entrance, which can be accessed from the above the ice well checkpoint. From here, we're going to want to grab the Shiverian and bring him over to this windowsill. Now, we are going to want to make sure that he's really close to the window, just like this, and that he isn't bouncing off of it. Now, we are going to want to bounce just like this, and when he's at the height of his bounce, just like this, by hitting the roof, we're going to want to uncapture, and if you do it correctly, you should be able to just go right through the wall. The timing is a little bit wonky. If you aren't able to even uncapture him at all, that means you're doing it too late. If you uncapture and you aren't going in the wall, that means you're doing it too early. So try to delay it a little bit. There we go. Okay, we're now just going to want to stand on the small part between inbounds and out of bounds, which is still out of bounds. This is so in assist mode, you can have a respawn point out here, so you can explore a lot. From here, you can explore the entire area down here. This includes being with all the Chevarians and going around the entire track. For that second one, though, you've got to be very, very careful. Here's a demonstration. If we go on the tiles sometimes, where is it? They will just kill you. Since we have assist mode on... Wait, what is this? Okay, yeah, this can also just happen. This is why these tiles are annoying. They can just kill you. But if you do it correctly, you can go all the way around the track. All right, and we're back out of bounds now, so we've got to be a lot more careful when exploring that area. A strategy that works for me most of the time is to just jump above the tile so that you don't get stuck in an infinite loop. So from here, we just kind of dive above and land in the middle. Just do that for every single one so that you hopefully won't die. This one is mostly fine, as we saw earlier. Just there's that one spot. So this tile is mostly deadly, so just jump over it like that. If we do this for long enough, we can get on top of these slope things, which are normally safe. But from the first slope thing, we can actually do something a little bit fun. We can go to this spot right here, and if we're able to go inside of this crack correctly, we can just go right through it. Oh, okay, there it is. I don't really know what I just did, but we were able to go right through. To me, it kind of looks like I just jumped up here at the right direction. I don't know. But yeah, you can clip there somehow. So now we can just keep going along. So sometimes you'll find a big roadblock like this that has a really big death plane. All you have to do to get across is literally just go around it. Just avoid any death barriers that you find there, and you should be good. So just go around it just like this, make sure to jump over a small death barrier here, and you're good. Something else that you can do from this side of the track is you can go and jump over to the big platter. I think it's the one with the cake. It just doesn't really have collision, and it seems to kill you. Much like most of the things out here. From here on out, there isn't really much else that's interesting. But we are pretty close to the finish line. Okay, we're at the final stretch. We just gotta be a little bit careful. This big part down here just kills you. So we got to do a little bit of movement. And now we're good. Hopefully we don't die. Okay. Maybe we can cross the finish line? Hopefully? Maybe? Nope. Okay. We're going to have to do a little bit more off-roading for this one. There we go. And that is now a lap completed. Did take a while, but it was pretty cool. And that is just about everything that we can do with this glitch. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch, with that being in Luncheon Kingdom. Alright, and we're back in Luncheon Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to want to come to the town, and you're going to want to break all of these boxes here to start off with. Now that we've broken all the boxes, you are just going to want to go over to this area without using checkpoints, and you're going to want to grab a pan bro. Now that you have a pan bro, you're just going to want to bring him back to the town, and you're going to want to grab the golden turnip. From here, you're going to want to bring both the golden turnip and the pan bro behind this house. So just kind of juggle them like this, uncapture the pan bro, throw the turnip, and then grab the pan bro again. Just keep repeating this, and you should be good. Now that we've gotten them here, you are just going to want to throw the turnip in this corner, and you're going to want to re-grab the pan bro. Now that you're here with the pan bro and the turnip in the corner, you are just going to want to have the pan bro facing about this direction, I'd say. And when you're at the height of your bounce, so that should be about here, you are just going to want to press B so that you can double jump like that, and just hold up. If you do it correctly, you should be able to just go right through the wall, like we did. From here, you can go to this small area, but we can actually get to a way bigger area. In order to do this, we're going to have to do a Cappy Hat vault around this wall, do a hat dive, jump off your hat, then do a homing throw into a twirl, then dive onto this small piece of land right on the edge of the screen. From there, we can go to some other places. We've just got to get there first so that I can explain it. Now let's try this. We got to do the vault. Then we got to do the homing throw, just like that. That should be good. There we go. Now you should be on this small section of this platform that's out of bounds. Be careful, there is a small section that is inbounds, and landing here could put you in inbounds. You just don't know. But if you have assist mode on, you're just going to want to have the bubble as far as you can, just like this. Now you're going to want to long jump so that you can go under this big wall and go to the biggest area between the wall and the gap. Then you're going to want to do a Cappy wall jump, and right after, do a Cappy dive. If you do that correctly, you should be able to just go into the big out of bounds. Just like that. From here, we are now in the bigger part of the out of bounds, which allows us to explore, like, all the fruit. So we can look around in all this fruit. We can see how there's different levels of salt pile, like there's that one there, and this one from inbounds also extends through here. But yeah, if you just want to look around at all the fruit, you can. If you're done looking at the fruit, or you just don't care, you can go through this section of the wall to get back into this area. From here, you can just walk right over here, and you can get into this area, which you can go inside of the gambling house. But we can just kind of stay in here, which there isn't really a point to doing that. So let's go explore some other parts. So now we can just explore this whole area, just out of bounds. Just do be careful. In this invisible floor, there are a lot of holes, just like this one. Yep, there's one right there. There's a whole bunch of other ones that you just can't see, so just be careful. But you do have this entire area to explore, which there isn't really much. We can see these weird lines in the 2D area, which is pretty decent. Oh, wait, we can actually land here? Okay, that's pretty cool. So we can go inside of the 2D area while being in the 3D area. Okay, that's really cool. Here we're in the lava. We should definitely not be in the lava. We can see the Hammer Bro hammers go out of bounds if we have the camera angled correctly. There we go. There they are. We can't exactly see them go down all the way, but we can see them go down. From here, there's actually this whole other area that we can go to over here. It looks kind of weird in a way. Oh, well, we're back in bounds. So that's the glitch, and I'll see you guys with the next glitch, which is in Ruined Kingdom. All right, and we're back in Ruined Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to want to come to the starting area just down here, and you're just going to want to dive at this bit of the wall in here. If you do this correctly, you should be able to just go right through. Just like that, it's really simple. It doesn't really look like much we can do with this, but there's actually quite a lot. What we can do is we can throw our hat out at the top and jump down right before it gets to us. Then we're going to want to throw our hat in there, dive, then do a triple throw facing to the right, then throw our hat and dive towards the platform. If you do that all correctly, you should be able to land it. There we go. Okay. That did take a little bit, but we're here. So we just have this small platform out of bounds. Okay, I somehow managed to get to this spot here. If I die, I will just be bubbled inbounds. So we're trying two-player mode to see what's solid and what's not. Okay, we got something. So if we go onto here, we can go stay out of bounds. So we can jump here. Okay, we got to be really careful with this. We got one try. No, okay. It could bubble us back. Is it going to bubble us back? Yes, okay. Wait, can we jump out? Yes, we can. No! So, I don't really recommend going over there, but we can go back to the normal spot. Alright, now we're back. So from here, we can do a little bit of exploring. We can jump on here, and then we can move around a bit out of bounds. We can jump over here and look at some stuff up here, like this weird clipping texture that just never stops. Wait, it stopped? Okay, I guess if you move the camera, it goes crazy. We have this huge hunk of dirt here. Every single brick seems to be an individual texture, which is interesting. We got this random lump of black stuff that kind of looks like coal. And there's this random floating brick. But that seems to be just about everything that we can do with this glitch. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch in Bowser's Kingdom. Okay, and we're back with the glitch in Bowser's Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to want to come to the inner wall checkpoint, and you're going to want to go to one very specific spot, which is just over here. From up here, you're going to want to go down here until you're on this platform and you're ready to do the glitch. Now that we're down here, you're just going to want to grab a Pokio, and you're going to want to bring him to this wall. Then you're going to want to climb the wall until you get to this area right here. You are going to want to be around the lower middle of it, just like this, and then you're going to want to shake your controller so that you go really high. When you're at the top of your shaken thing, like that, the height of your thing, you're going to want to uncapture, and that should let you grab onto the ledge. From there, you're going to want to bounce off of the Pokio, and if you do that correctly, you should be able to just go out of bounds. Okay, so we've done a ledge grab there, but we weren't able to bounce off. That means we have to go a little bit higher, but not much. There we go, and we have gotten the glitch. So from here, we can go to either the right or the left direction. Since there isn't anything interesting in the left, let's go to the right. So from the right direction, we can jump in this spot to go right inside the main area. You can't really stand anywhere, so we just gotta kind of look. Which there isn't quite anything to see. The only real thing we can see is these things going in and out of the wall. Looks like they spawn out of bounds, go inbounds, and then despawn on the other side. The other thing that we can do from here is jump right up into this area, just like that. Now this area is actually a solid platform, so we can actually look around. You can't exactly see much since the camera angles aren't great, but we can clip the camera in and see how the floor is just invisible. The last thing that we can really do with this is the infinite bubble loop. It is a little bit difficult to achieve with this actually, but it's still possible. There we go! Okay, so we just need to ground pound roll cancel straight. And then Mario just kind of falls super fast. From here, we're kind of stuck. That's why it's called the infinite bubble loop. Anyways, that's this glitch. And I'll see you guys with the next glitch and kingdom of the video, with that being Moon Kingdom in 3, 2, 1. Alright, and we're back in Moon Kingdom. So for this glitch, you are just going to need to come to this spot right here. And you're going to need to be in assist mode. You cannot do this in regular mode since we need the bubbles from assist mode. Now, you are going to want to jump down towards that big rock down there, and right before you touch it, you're going to want to throw your hat and dive. While doing this, you're going to want to hold up the entire time, and that should allow you to go on the rock for a little bit. Then you should fall right into the void and get bubbled right into the wall. That's what happens if you did it correctly. If you didn't do it correctly, you should just get bubbled right on it. Okay, that looks good. And that's what I mean by we didn't do it right. There we go. So now we're out of bounds, and we're able to actually explore quite a bit. A whole bunch of the rocks around here have collisions, so you can jump from one to another. So from this rock, we can go down to this one, which isn't that big, but it's still something. Then from this rock, you can go to this high one right here. And then from here, you can jump to these two close rocks over here, just like this. Also, if you want to check the collision of a nearby rock, you can just throw Cappy on it. If he goes through, that means it doesn't have collision. If he doesn't, that means you're good. So from here, we can go to these two rocks, I believe. Or just this one. Then from this one, you can go down here to this rock. Finally, you can go over here to this rock and this one. From this rock, we can also jump to some other ones in this direction. I'm pretty sure you can go onto this tilted one right here. Oh, wait, no, you can just go into this one right past the tilted one. Okay, from here, we can go up here and further over here on this one. From here, we can also jump to this big rock down here. And we can also take this a little bit further by jumping to some rocks over here. This one specifically. But now, I'm pretty sure this is where our path ends. I don't think we can take this any further than this. I have tried to get across the bridge before, but I think it's just too skinny. So yeah, that's this glitch. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch, that being in Darker Side, and the second to last glitch of the video. Alright, and we're back in Mushroom Kingdom! So for this glitch, you're just going to want to come to this castle right here, which is right by the main area, so just come up and you should be good. Now just go inside and go into the Mecha Wiggler painting. Now that you're in the boss fight, you're just going to want to get rid of this part and wait until he goes onto this wall, just like this. Now, we're going to need him to be pretty low, so when he's at his lowest, and then we can actually start what we have to do. Now, I'm going to explain what to do before we have no time to do it, so here it is. So now, once you have the Mecha Wiggler really low, at its lowest point, you're going to want to go to where it is at lowest, and you're going to want to go right at the wall and face forward. Now, you're just going to want to do a backflip and throw your hat towards the wall at around that line. If you do this correctly, you should get hit and go right through the wall. Okay, so now we've got to try it. There we go! That's the glitch. So we timed our cap throw correctly, and now we're out of bounds. From here, we can see that there's a few things missing from the city. I think the most noticeable one would be how every single building is gone. So now you just have the entire city to just go around jumping in. It's kind of crazy how they just copied and pasted the whole thing just for it to be found here. But there still are some things that you can do. First of all, this building is missing its doors, and you can go right through it. You can also get in the big Bowser sign by doing something like this. There we go. Now we're in the sign. We can also go in this building over here, which is the one that the Mecha Wiggler is on, so we can look at it from behind. Once again, it has like no collision. But from here, the whole world is kind of your playground. You can go anywhere. There's also this really random thing over here that for some reason isn't gone. It just has no collision. I don't know why it's here. In specific areas of the city, you can just start walking and you'll just go right through the floor. Specifically, on the left side of the city, it just doesn't have collision, so you can go inside of it and see everything. There isn't really much to see, but you can still look at it. Anyways, that's this glitch. It's really, really fun to do and really cool to see Metro Kingdom so barren. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the next glitch of the video, with that being in Dark Side. Alright, and we're now in Dark Side. So for this glitch, you are just going to want to come to this top area right here, and you're going to want to come to where this pole is. This pole will not spawn in if you haven't beaten the Mecha Brutal on the moon. So if you didn't beat the Mecha Brutal all the way up there, that means this thing won't spawn. Now that you've gotten the pole all spawned in, you're just going to want to go below the pole and wall slide. And now you should be on an invisible bit of the pole's collision. It goes pretty low for some reason. I don't know why this is here, but it's pretty cool. It just doesn't stop. It goes below the death barrier. But besides that, if you just climb up, you're just able to climb out of bounds. From here, we're able to explore the entire area, but I'm not really sure how far you can get. So we can try and get pretty far. I just don't think we can. Besides, there's literally an endless void over here. There isn't anything to see. So we can get to all the good stuff from just here. First of all, you can jump into all this fruit, which I don't know why you would want to. It's not really exciting. Well, here's the backside. Well, that's in all the fruits. You can also go behind this door, which also isn't very exciting. If you do go behind this door, you are now stuck. You cannot get Cappy through here, and the only way to leave is by going to the Odyssey. But that's just about everything that you can do with this glitch. It's pretty underwhelming, actually. Anyways, I'll see you guys with the final glitch of the video and the final kingdom, with that being Darker Side in 3, 2, 1. Alright, and we're back with the last glitch and kingdom of the video, that being Darker Side. So for this glitch, you are just going to want to come to the lava bubble part like we are now, and you're going to want to go to the very back as Mario. From here, you're going to want to go to this area of the wall and then do a bubble clip. To do this one, I recommend standing this far away from the wall, then doing a backflip and then throwing your hat back just like that. The timing is kind of tight, so just practice it a few times. It's kind of like halfway up and then throw your hat back is what I find is best. So just try that and you should be good. There we go, and we have done the glitch. So from here, you should be landing on this platform right here. If you did it incorrectly, there is a platform down here that you'll land on. You're kind of just stuck there, so you'll either have to go back to the Odyssey or die. But since we're in the main part, we can explore. We can look around and move around in all these blocks around here. Just be careful for a spot over here, since you will get stuck. I'm pretty sure it's in this block here, so just don't cross the path with that block. Yep, this is what I mean. So we ended up getting stuck in there, which I don't really recommend getting past where we were. So now you're stuck here, and you can't really move. There isn't exactly a way out. The only way out is through the Odyssey. Alright, now we're back from that little mix-up. I don't really recommend going past that block. We can also jump to the other side to explore a little bit more, which we shouldn't have as big of a risk in falling in that spot. There are a few more blocks around here that we could get led down to, I think. Could we go on this one, maybe? Okay, no, we can't. From here, it doesn't really look like we can go down anymore, but we could go up, like we were able to get a small bit on there. Okay, we got it. So now we're up here. Let's hope we don't get stuck anywhere. Oh, come on. This is a new infinite bubble loop. But anyways, that's just about everything that we can do with this glitch, I think. And that is a glitch in every single kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey.